What is up, guys? It is the Desolate Dragon here, welcoming you to the return of something that has been buried in the recesses of my channel for almost a year now. This is my long-lost fan-fiction reading of My Little Pony, Guardians of Equestria, Rise of the Blue Sun. I have just recently been receiving requests to continue and finish this story, which I did promise to do. So, without further ado, here is Chapter 8, The Rarest of Love. Hawk was just enjoying his day in Ponyville. He was enjoying his ice cream that he had got from Sugar Cube Corner, and he was eating it. Can't read still. As he was eating it, he noticed that the ground was shaking. The entire townspeople stopped to figure out what was happening. All of a sudden, a giant worm-like monster came out of the ground. It had no eyes, several arms and legs, and it was quite short. The townspeople started shouting and running from it, all except Hawk. The creature started burrowing again, and as it did, it made Hawk stumble a bit. He accidentally dropped his ice cream to the ground and said, "Hey, that cost me 1 bit." The worm didn't care and dug its way towards Hawk. He had to think fast. It was obvious that the worm was after him, and it could not do serious damage to the town if it wasn't stopped. He jumped high up into the air and came back down with his magic concentrated into his right hand. He smashed his hand to the ground and caused a shockwave to occur and trap the worm underground. He quickly tries to find where the worm is and used his magic to charge up a large energy ball. He threw the ball at the ground and a huge explosion was set off, and the worm was destroyed. After the worm blew up, the townspeople came out and cheered for their hero. Mr. and Mrs. Cake came out of the bakery with another scoop of ice cream in their hands and gave it to Hawk. Hawk took it, gave his thanks to the cakes, and went off to wander off some more. After Hawk was done eating his ice cream, he decided to go to Rarity's place to get back his suit after it was messed up. After the fight with the insect creature from a couple of days ago, as he was on his way, he noticed Spike was heading for him. The young dragon said, "Hey Hawk, how are you? I just heard you defeated another monster." "Yo Spike, yeah I did. But it was a lot easier to get rid of instead of the last two," Hawk replied. "Yeah, but still, it was cool," Spike replied. "Yeah, it was," Hawk said. So where are you headed for?" Spike asked. "I'm going to Rarity's place to grab my suit," Hawk answered. "Did you say Rarity's place? Can I come along?" Spike asked excitedly. "Well, sure. Do you want to pick up some roses for her too?" Hawk replied with a giggle. "Well, wait, how did you know about me having a crush on Rarity?" Spike asked while he was shocked. I didn't," Hawk pointed out. Spike smacked himself in the face after hearing that. "So you have a crush on Rarity? How old are you again?" "Love has nothing to do with age. And I'm 14 in dragon years," Spike said. "Right. I hope he realizes that Rarity is 18 and he is in a very different class than him. So you want to head there now?" Hawk said. Right, let's go," Spike said. Hawk and Spike headed over to Rarity's place Hawk and Spike headed over to Rarity's place. They went to the front door to see if anyone was in and heard, "I'll be there in a sec." They both sat down to near some chairs and waited on Rarity. Then she came to see them and said, "Oh, why, hello. Well then, Mr. Gregory, and hello, my little Spikey Wikey." Rarity gave Spike a hug. spiky wikey? Hawk said with a whole lot of confusion and shock.
Why, yes, after all he did give me this beautiful ruby that you can see around my neck,
Rarity said while she firmly put her hand on the ruby. Hawk looked at the ruby and saw that it was a very beautiful necklace. It had also convinced him that Spike might have a chance with Rarity. Only a little. It's very small. Rarity then said,
"Oh, I almost forgot. You're here for the suit, yes?"
"Yes, I am. Sorry if I got messed up last time," Hawk said.
"Why, it's quite all right. I even decided to make you some more of those suits so you don't have to worry about it. You can just bring in the damaged ones while you use the others and still look fabulous," she said.
"Thank you. I appreciate it. How much would it cost?" he asked.
"Oh no, it's all on me. After all, as a hero, you'll need someone to make the repairs, and also it might encourage people to come here more often. If you keep coming here to get your clothes fixed," she said.
"Well, if that's okay with you, then I would be honored," he said. When the conversation was done, she gave Hawk the extra suits, and a thought had come to Rarity, and she asked,
"Why, Mr. Gregory, have you heard of the Grand Galloping Gala?"
"Well, no. What's it about?" he asked.
Rarity then answered, "Why, it's just one of those high-class parties that happens once a year. But truth be told, it wasn't as good as last year."
"Why? What happened?" he asked. Both Spike and Rarity remembered what happened that time, and how the girls messed up the party one by one. They quickly snuck back into Rarity and both said, Nothing happened." Hawk looked confused and puzzled by their answer. Zern said, "Okay. Well, I would love for you to make me a suit for it."
"Great. I will get to work on it as soon as I can," Rarity said.
After that, Hawk decided to take his suit and head back home. Spike said goodbye to Rarity, and he joined Hawk on the way out. Looming the shadows, though, a creature stood near, waiting for its chance to catch its prey.
"Isn't Rarity the most beautiful pony in the entire world?"
Spike asked. "She's nice, but she isn't really my type of girl," Hawk replied.
"Well, of course. Why would you say that? You're more interested in Twilight, right?"
Spike said. Hawk turned red and stopped. Then he asked Spike, "What exactly made you say that?"
"Well, for one thing, you can't stop looking at her with your eyes, and you can't help but always be near her when she needs you," Spike pointed out. You have to be either blind or stupid not to notice."
"Right. Wait, does Twilight know?" Hawk asked.
"Well, I know she's not blind and definitely not stupid, but for some reason she's always not noticed these sort of things. Or she just doesn't care at the time," Spike pointed out.
"Ah," Hawk said with relief. As they were walking, they suddenly heard screaming. A screaming voice coming from somewhere. Hawk said, "Did you hear that?" "Oh shit! What? Nope. Go. Okay, there we go." "Did you hear that?"
"Yeah, and that sounded like Rarity," Spike said.
Spike quickly went back to Rarity's place. Hawk dropped his suits and followed him. When they got to the house, a giant gorilla came from behind the building, holding a fainted Rarity. Spike was enraged and said, "Let her go!" The gorilla ignored him and looked at Hawk. Then it swung its arm, and then Hawk quickly pushed Spike out of the way and got hit by the arm, landing against a tree and was knocked out. As the gorilla was standing there triumphant, Spike got back up and said, "I said let her go!" All of a sudden, Spike started to transform into a tall, full-sized dragon. Hawk woke up and saw what happened to Spike. He was amazed that such a little human-like dragon transformed into a real-life dragon. Both Spike and the gorilla prepared for the battle. They stared down at each other to see who would go first. The gorilla started first and swung its arm at Spike. Spike blocked it with his arm and used his tail. The grammar. The gorilla started first and swung its arm at Spike. Spike blocked it with his arm and swung his tail at its head. The gorilla started spinning around and stopped, but it still had Rarity in its hand. Then Spike used his claw at the gorilla and cut it around the chest. The gorilla felt pain, but it was able to hold it in and went to bite Spike around the shoulders. Spike was in incredible pain and it looked like the gorilla was going to win. But then a huge explosion was on the back of the gorilla and it was in intense pain. Hawk had shot an energy ball at its back and threw an energy spear at its hand in which Rarity was in. The spear hit it, and the gorilla let go of Rarity, and Spike grabbed her as she was falling. Spike then pushed the gorilla back and breathed fire on it. The gorilla was finished, and it finally fell down dead. Spike calmed down and started transforming back into himself again. He was still holding Rarity in his arm and made sure that she was okay. Hawk ran over to them and asked, "Is she okay?"
Yeah, she is. She'll wake up in no time,
Spike said. Okay, that's good. So when did you learn how to do that? Hawk said.
Well, that only happens on two things. One was where if you're greedy you can transform into a full-size dragon, and the other is when a dragon is really angry and you can use that to become powerful,
Spike explained. Hawk then asked, "Wow, so it's like a defense mechanism?"
Yeah, sorta like that,
Spike said. After their conversation, they got Rarity back into her house and into her room, on her bed. Hawk decided that it was safe to leave Spike and Rarity alone. He also told Spike to tell Rarity that he saved her by himself, while Hawk was still out cold. Spike didn't want to take all the credit, but said he would think about it. Hawk left the house, got rid of the gorilla's corpse, and got his suits, and went home. On the way, he thought about what he told Spike about his crushes and was wondering which one he wanted to be with. Then he thought, I'm going to have a tough time. Hawk then looked back at Rarity's house and said, well, Spike has at least you, and I have the same problem with love. End of chapter 8. Well, that was it, guys. Hope you guys enjoy the returning of these stories. I've had a couple people wanting the return of these, so I decided to bring them back. That actually reminded me how much I enjoy these stories. They can be funny, they can actually be pretty awesome. Grammar and spelling need to be checked, though, so if the original creator can make some edits, that would be really appreciated. I mean, you don't have to change any, story-based anything, just make sure your grammar and your spelling are checked out. But anyways, that's going to be it from me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like if you enjoyed, comment down below. Feedback always helps me out to be a better content creator. Subscribe to join the Desolate Land today. Despite its name, it's the beautiful place. We got swimming pools and barbecues all day long. I am the Desolate Dragon, and I will see you all later. Bye!